What's going on YouTube? Earth Power here with X-Boom back in the booth for our top four match today. Water Fire Rush versus Water Fire Nature Tempo.
Yes, very excited.
We spoke about this a little bit at the end of last week. Mr. X-Boom, YouTube Duel
Mm.
Masters Talk. Check out the description below. Um, this match to me feels like it falls more in Water Fire Rush's wheelhouse. And while it's weird to call Waterfire a rush deck, I feel like it plays rush just with a little bit more staying power in the blue cards like Lucky Ball and Unicorn Fish. But um, yeah, I think coming into this, I feel the same way that I felt about Light Water Fire Rush is that this is where tempo dies. So,
Yeah, Rush has the because of the way Rush dictates the pace of the game. It has the it it takes the lead, and then it has the three unicorn fishes and
yeah,
four spiral gates to keep the lead and keep the pressure on. And tempo deck really needs to hit some triggers to survive. I
yeah.
think. I think that's the way of the game.
Yeah, has to be, right? So, lucky shield surfer, but that's what I'm known for, friend. And without
Mm.
further ado, we're gonna hop into it. So we have CVH on the left. Whether you can read that or not, I know the white text probably doesn't show up well on his mat. But CVH is piloting Waterfire Rush, and I myself am behind the Waterfire Nature tempo deck uh, with the freshest sleeves, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, the sleeves look really nice.
So, yeah. So, like Expo mentioned, I think a lot of things have to go right for tempo here. I need Surfer or
The
Spiral
dice.
Gate as a timely shield. I need to win the dice roll, which I'm
Mm.
not sure that I do there. Um, we're
I
about to
missed it.
find out. Yeah, no, I couldn't read the letters, the numbers rather. We'll see if who makes the play first here. And it looks like
I
it's
think the
gonna,
rush
yeah,
is
yeah,
starting.
yeah. So CVH won the dice roll.
Yeah.
So things already not looking great for me. Getting the rebirth down in mana is great if I can find Ganta if it's not already in hand. I think this is the part in bracket tournament stuff now where we finally start showing our hands kind of in between turns to give the guys in the booth, aka us, a little bit more insight into thought process here. But I do
Yeah,
have
that
the
helps.
Ganta, so
Yeah, but the Gonta doesn't answer the cook balloon,
sure
unfortunately.
don't.
So
You can't attack it, man. You just can't.
yeah, but you
Um,
just gotta raise the rush then. You just gotta go.
yeah, and I mean that's gameplay number two, right? Tempo can't really afford to just sit on its ass, so um, gotta find some ways to match pressure and keep momentum. Um,
That's the best turn three you could have.
yeah, especially if Searing Wave is in my hand, which I'm gonna need Reed Kook Balloon just to make sure that I can actually
Hmm.
uh, either swap it out or do something with it later. But um, yeah, really deep in the tank here. Would you or would you not take a shield here?
I think I would because there's if you hit a what are the triggers? There are the spiral gates, but there are no other triggers than spiral gates. So
Just
even
Spiral
this,
Gate, yeah. This
so
this
you have to
deck's
go.
sorry.
Yeah, I just think you have to go for it and start pressuring the rush. So
Yeah,
they need to think about surviving themselves.
yeah. This deck's basically a carbon copy of I think it's. Do you say it Pitikman? There's
Pitikman, I think.
Pitikman. Yeah, there's a lot of eyes in there that I struggle on. But yeah, he won an IDC with Waterfire a few months ago, and this was right around the same time we were finalizing our decks. And so the only difference here is that we did not max out Surfer, and instead went for the max on Spiral Gate and an extra Unicorn Fish and Lucky Ball. So played around with the numbers a little bit here, but essentially it's a very similar deck to the one that won that IDC. So
Yeah, I think it's a better general strategy to be faster because the surfers can be just bricks in your hand when you're trying to end the game fast.
yeah,
Uh, but
I
of
can.
course, in this matchup, the surfers would be nice in the shields.
Yeah, Paladin goes down. Um, Christian opts for the creature and bounce on Ganta. Putting me two
Mm.
turns behind on Ganta is way better than just attacking it outright, and it obviously doesn't even lean into what Waterfire's trying to do. So that's just a great play.
You know, even Searing Wave, I think Searing Wave is good here, but it's a little sad to go down to one shield.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and that's just what you have to do.
yeah. And I'm
Mm.
basically on the option again of do I break a shield? I don't really have a 2 turn clock built into
Yeah, I
my
think
hand
it
yet.
depends if you have swaps or Yaggles or so something you can like keep the pressure on after that. I see you
Yeah.
have a Holkos in hand.
Yeah, it's Holkis, Ganta, and I think a whole lot of nothing else. I don't
Mm.
have Jigalzor. I may have the swap, and I think I've got another Earth Stomp in hand.
Yeah,
Um,
one Jaggles are in the grave from the Searing.
yeah, and Christian continues to just answer with far too much pressure. Um,
Uh,
I-
Another Searing would be nice, but there's only two in the deck, so that would be
yeah,
asking a lot.
yeah,
Uh,
Syrian Surfer. I mean, I have plenty of outs to not be dead on board, but whether
mm,
or not I win the game in the next 2 to 3 turns is yet to be seen. So
mm,
I need to be able to deal with Kook while also setting up something on board. Surfer, I think, would be the better play here if I had
mm.
it.
Yeah,
Rebirth is
Rebirth is
pretty
nice.
good. Yeah. So,
I
yeah,
guess
the play
just
here
get a
is just,
Gondar or something.
yeah. Yeah, Ganta's the only play here. Like a grab pig, but Ganta's just better in general. And now, yeah, it really just comes down to if I can find Pyro, Jigalzor, and somehow get another creature on board. The 2 drop can potentially get me there, but
Mm.
CVH has
There's the there's the
I,
Pyro.
I believe that's the German Pyro fighter as well, Mr. X Boom. So Pyro, I think it's Campus. It's like,
Pyro Camper.
yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, we got a lot of welcome to more behind the scenes for you for those who don't know, and I know I've mentioned this maybe a few times on content, but all of these decks are built at all times. Like we don't take cards out of other decks to put the decks back together,
Mm.
and that is years and years and years of collecting, and obviously, as you guys can see, a lot of uh, quote unquote Japanese proxies. Not quite proxies; they are real cards, but I can't read Japanese. I just know what the card
Now
does.
I'm calling for the Earthstomp gods to to bless this
Yes,
game too.
yes. That's so. It's funny because we obviously in game in round 16, Waterfire, Nature, Tempo got to play an Earth Stomp,
Mm.
but I don't think it's hit the board since then, or at least hit the board in a relevant way since
Yeah,
then.
and it's in this matchup. It's not a not a good card because it
Yeah.
gets bounced for 2 mana. So
Well, it's unfortunate because getting paired against the rush and now this rush, and being down a game. Yeah, back is up against the wall. Pyro go down early. Really just banking on trying to find nature mana for the Ganta, and I do find the Bronze Arm Tribe. Unfortunately, I have to put Bronze Arm Tribe down to play the Ganta,
mm.
but lesser of two evils here. I think Ganta's more relevant on board on 2 than Bronze Arm is on 3, and I do
Yeah,
find
and you have the
another
three
Holkus.
drop, so it's fun.
Yeah. So Christian has perhaps maybe one of the worst plays Rush can have against Tempo here
Yeah,
and
that does nothing.
Screwdriver. Yeah. So much less.
You decided not to attack. That's interesting.
Yeah. So Jigalzor's in hand. The
Mm.
thought process is trying to set up a 2 turn here. Spiral Gate is not the worst. I think in retrospect, breaking the shield here could have been fine.
Yeah.
Ganta breaking, I still have the creature to crack back on Screwdriver to keep him off of attacking. Um, the only difference is if he had had maybe Pyro Fighter, that would have been bad. But him attacking creatures is also just good for me. So yeah, not attacking there I think was just maybe incorrect. But
Yeah, the only thing is it like might keep him like off a card he could play next turn with
yeah,
something.
and
Okay,
hey,
and it was a
fair enough.
Spiral Gate.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure enough. Yeah, he bounces the Hulkus there instead of the Ganta. They're both doing essentially the same thing to him at this point, and he'd rather force me to have a 3 drop in hand than a 2 drop for swap shenanigans. So
Yeah, the Rush doesn't really care about you having cards anymore in this game, and the
this is
Surfer.
this is when
Yeah,
Christian loses his mind, because as all of you may remember from last week's content, and I did not show Xboom yet. He has yet to see any of these other top 8 matches. This
mm.
happened in the water fire, or excuse me, light water fire rush deck match as well. So it's happening again.
Even though this is pre-recorded, I believe my calling for the Earthstorm did it. Uh,
Absolutely. Yeah, so now I get favorable trades on both creatures. And now with 3 shields and going into now what is turn 5, me with 6 mana.
yeah, now
I'm
it's looking
feeling
really good.
feeling very good about this game right now. Um, yeah,
And
Rebirth for
Bronze Arm.
Bronze Arm Tribe. I'm trying to set up for a swap play here in the next turn. So Bronze Arm will help me get one step closer to that. 2-drop swap Jigalzor is the goal with an
Yep.
additional creature. So um, yeah, and we're just on our way. We're just doing tempo things at this point, playing the deck as the Lord intended. Um, yeah, here stuck again on whether or not just to break this shield outright because I don't know that I need to.
I
But
think you should,
yeah, with a clear
because
board, the worst thing that could happen is Spiral Gate, and I think I'm fine if that happens.
yeah, and it still keeps the Yagalsor will still break 2 shields after you break the 1 shield next turn, and there would be still be 2 shields.
I
But
do
I
wait.
understand you are afraid of
So,
Spiral Gate, but I don't think it
so
does.
I and maybe it wasn't Spiral Gate here, but bouncing. So I know he has Kook Paloon in hand,
Mm?
and he essentially bricked. I believe the turn before he didn't really have a play that wasn't Pyro Fighter. So I think the not breaking there was the trying to keep him off of having a second creature that would stick on board. But
Hmm.
even still, the
But I don't think
logic's
you care
not very.
about the other
Yeah,
creature
yeah,
because
and
you're
that's what I'm
trying to end
saying.
the game next turn. So,
Yeah,
hmm.
yeah, my mindset, and maybe it's just the fact that he just obliterated me in game one. But yeah, clearly, maybe a tilt play there. Should have swung with the bronze arm. Getting
Hmm.
those spirals out of the way as early as possible, if they are there, is the goal. So, um,
Okay, another trigger. What is
Christian
heading
is
to?
yeah trying to set himself up for a 2 turn. I just go ahead and swap out the
Hmm.
Surfer to keep him off of Kook Paloon, keep him off of the 2 turn play, which again gives me just another free turn
Yeah, that's
essentially to set up need be. So
very safe.
yeah,
And yeah,
uh,
Galsar and another.
yeah,
Good.
I tap my mana correctly because I'm not an
Yeah,
imbecile.
yeah.
But yeah, Jigal's Organta there.
Now on his Spiralgate would have to be in the first
Yeah,
shield.
yeah,
So,
absolutely. And it wasn't. So we got there. So yeah, so minus a few questionable shield breaks there. Sometimes all you need is a few triggers to get you there, and that definitely made the ease of play and the decision making a little bit easier there in game two. But Waterfire Nature Tempo taking game two and at least taking this to 3 games. So feeling pretty good about
yeah, that's a
Tempo's
good show.
performance so far. Yeah, for sure. Still no Earth Stomp though. Would love to see Earth Stomp hit board, and gotta be
Yeah, it's
perfectly
hard,
honest.
hard to get down because Russ is usually trying to kill you in those turns when you could maybe play it. And there's no 5 drops in the Rush, so can't really get it off Rebirth either.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And shout outs to Rebirth and this tempo deck, a card that we've always tried to kind of find slots for. And as you guys saw in season one, this deck was incredibly top heavy, um, leaning more on
Mm.
the 4 of Twin Cannon and all those Jigalzors. And cleaning that up has made this deck feel just so much. I mean, cleaner is the only word I have to describe it. It feels good. Feels good to pilot tempo.
Yeah, you have more like flexibility in all of the situations. You're not having like 2 Twinkanens and a Yagalsor in hand, and you're just wondering,
Yeah,
why did I need these anyway? Like,
why did I need
uh,
all these wind axes? Yeah.
yeah,
Yuliana can't touch it. So, yeah, I'm feeling good
mm,
after winning that game, if you can't tell. Um,
yeah. Okay, Braid Claw. That's not what you like to see as
no,
the
no, not at all.
tempo
That's,
player.
yeah. So now I get to at least watch 2 turns of this thing breaking shields. um,
Mm.
and hoping.
Or maybe it hits a surfer. Mm.
I mean, we could only hope, right? Like
Yes,
that's that's
that's the
what
dream.
that's what we pray for here. Um, yeah, Christian's deciding between which I believe 4 drop he wants to put into mana. Trying to decide if Lucky Ball is something he's going to need over the course of this game, or if I think he's deciding between Unicorn Fish or Lucky Ball. Just depends on what he needs for staying
Mm.
power. But I think yeah, Lucky Ball is just not the card I think that's going to matter a whole lot in this
Yeah,
matchup.
I think the Fizz is the card that can put this game like away. Like if if the Fish bounce is something relevant on turn 4, I think it would be better than the Lucky Ball. But mm,
Yeah, he opts not for it. I guess essentially the thought process is whatever his next draw is probably going to be the card he plays since his other card is uh, Aqua Guard. So
mm,
eh, having the draw card to kind of get you there through the last 2 turns is what his goal is, and it just
mm,
kind of works out. He finds the other 1 drop. So
mm.
Surfer,
Okay.
yeah, Surfer down slightly. I would have loved to have seen that a turn earlier, but
Yeah,
this works out in the same sense because I get to put guard back in his hand. Him at 2 mana is great for me, and I get to crack back on both creatures.
yeah, that looks very good because you can kill both those creatures. And like Christian didn't load mana earlier, so he can't play the Lucky Ball. Oh, did he only has the 2 cards,
Yeah,
so he has to
yeah,
wait 2 turns for the Lucky Ball to even
absolutely,
matter.
and yeah, God willing, and again, I don't know he has Lucky Ball in his hand, but God willing, he he bricks on this next draw, which would just be great for Waterfry Nature. I think we're talking about how annoyingly lucky I am with Surfer right now. I think that's what's taking so long. So he's always been there for me. Surfer's a good friend. We go way
Yeah,
back.
there's 3 copies, so it's not unreasonable to see one of them in the game.
And you said I should be playing for Spiral Gates with Thirst Stomp.
Hmm. Well, it's better in other matchups. So.
You're not wrong. You're
Yeah.
not wrong.
Mm.
I think a few more Spiral Gates are going to make their way into this deck
Even
here, I'm
I
pretty
have
sure.
one surfer in the, because I know it the one surfer will show up, so I only need one.
Yeah. Spiral Gate there saves the last shield, which is phenomenal. Um,
Yes, very
I
good.
am I am now very close. I basically get a free turn to set up here. There's no way he can put lethal on board because I can clear the Braid Claw, and I
Mm.
can set up my board to try to be able to swap out this Jagalzor here in the next 2 turns. So I'm either I don't know if I'm gonna do it now. I'm interested. This might be the Pyro. Yeah, so this is the Pyro pick play.
Mm.
So break the card here and then just go to town on his shields.
Yeah, because
Spiral
the only
Gates,
triggers are spiral gates. Yeah.
right. Yeah, the worst thing he could do is bounce a card, and I'm perfectly fine with that because no matter what he bounces, outside of the Surfer, which is annoying, if he saves himself the shield, that's cool. But I'm having this conversation with him about bouncing the Surfer because my play,
Mm.
it's very obvious that the only way I win next turn, I'd say not only he's still dead on board right now, but the way I lock the game away is with Jagalzor this next turn. So
There is
he opts to save the shield instead. So
was there a guard or did it go into mana instead?
he maned the guard last turn, or he maned
Oh,
a
that's
guard last turn. Yeah,
so guard would be good here because it could block the double break, but Rush is still looking very rough here
yeah,
because it needs to survive and put out enough pressure to end end the game next turn. Because
yeah.
if it doesn't, there's the same problem. It can't remove the creatures.
Shoutouts to Spencer running back and forth across this table and shaking the mess out of this tripod. I apologize, everybody watching, who has
it's
motion
it's
sickness.
it brings the Earth Stomp effect to the
Yeah,
battle.
that's what we're doing. That's what it is. Sorry,
Yeah.
I misspoke.
Yes.
Oh my god.
So there's
Um,
some Rikapu, Screwdriver, Cook Balloon,
yeah,
and the Lucky Ball. I think it looks it looks bad.
yeah.
That's my analysis of the situation.
Yeah, Christian's thought process here is just to break the last shield. Um, or play
Mm,
the two creatures. If there's a spiral, he needs a spiral. He needs two spirals in
well, that's
shields.
hopeful.
So, that's really what the bank is here. So his goal is to do that and then find the other speed attacker or force me to kill one of the fast attackers rather, speed attackers, whatever the hell they're called in
Okay,
this
and the
game.
two pyros are even safer than the
Yeah.
gals or so.
Yeah. So he
Well,
had the one, but wasn't enough and yeah,
hmm,
Tempo takes it.
yeah,
Tempo
my
takes it.
belief was rewarded.
Absolutely. And
Hmm,
yeah, me just getting stoked on the fact that I had another. Oh man, what a game! What a game!
yeah,
I feel good about this.
yeah, that was very exciting game. Like lots of swings. The steel triggers
Yeah,
are what makes Duel Masters really unique. With the
yeah,
like, it can swing the game.
yeah. So welcome back to the booth, everybody. Waterfire Nature beating Waterfire Rush 2-1. Um, yeah, so gotta be perfectly honest, I couldn't be more happy. Waterfire Nature Tempo has been my the love of Duel Masters for me for the past 18 plus years. Love that deck. It is the one that I always want to be sitting behind. It's the one I always want to be playing. If you asked me to pick up a deck and just roll into tournament right now, that would be the deck I'd pick up, bar none. But yeah, making it all the way through after a humiliating defeat to Phantomac in season one, sitting as our first contender here in the finals for season two.
Yeah, and it even lost the dice against the Rush, so
Yeah,
it's even more impressive in that way.
yeah, sure did. Sometimes a surfer and a spiral gate's all you need in shields to help
Mm.
you overcome that die roll. So, yeah, we're gearing up into now the other semifinal game. So here in the next couple of days, CBH and I will be back in the booth for Light Fire Nature Turbo Burn versus Fire Nature Rush. Um, that is that the winner of that is going to go on to face Water Fire Nature Tempo, and then the last two decks will uh, play off in the bronze match, similar to last month. We will, I think, be doing another small giveaway for season two, so stay tuned for that. We're going to try for another live stream here in the next couple of days, maybe coming into this weekend, and yeah, we're gonna go from there. So Expo, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank
If
you.
people want to follow you, know more about you, see what you're up to, where can they find you?
And they can find me on Discord or any other socials at the Xboom 3000, or on YouTube they can find my channel Duel Masters Talk, where I have some videos, and maybe later coming more videos when
Hey,
I find the time.
yeah, no, I'm for it. That's awesome. That sounds great. Well, thank you again for joining me, guys. Thanks so much for watching. This has been a blast, and yeah, stay tuned for our final semifinal match: Turbo Burn versus Fire Nature Rush. Until next time, guys. Peach.